Arizona Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon is in some deep trouble, at least according to some people. Look, in a loss to the Tennessee Titans, who were 0-4 at the time, the Cardinals had a bunch of mental mistakes, and the first mental mistake they had was on a long, broken play. Their running back fumbled at the goal line, right at the goal line, one of those classic plays where they just drop the ball celebrating. And they ended up going from 7 points on the board to 0 points, and the Titans get the football. And that was inevitably kind of the start of the end for the Cardinals in that game. It wasn't the play that lost them the game, but it was definitely the momentum swing that the Titans needed to get their first win. And immediately after the play, the Jonathan Gannon, the Arizona Cardinals head coach, got up in the player's face that fumbled. He hit him a few times in the chest. Obviously, it looked like he was cussing him out. And then as he was walking away, kind of hit him with a nasty right hook. And that's where a lot of people have some issues. Some people like James Harrison, who is the ex-Steelers defensive lineman or outside linebacker, he said if he does that to me, he's going to, if that coach did that to James Harrison would have knocked him out. And look, it's cool, James Harrison, you're a tough guy, I guess. I don't really think, hitting a 40-year-old coach, like, really, Jonathan Gannon's not an elderly man, but like, we're gonna, I mean, he hit you in the pads in the chest, and you're gonna knock him out, like, okay, I don't know if we need to go that far. Now, there's another camp that thinks that the coach, or there's another camp that thinks that this was a good move by the coach, and it's just these players need more tough love. And when I played football, my coach, he'd knock me out. I'd make a mistake, I'd blow a coverage, and I'd walk over to someone and he knocks me out with a baseball bat, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I think could we be somewhere in the middle here? Look, I want to point this out, that I think both camps are kind of ridiculous on this point. I don't think you need to knock your coach out like James Harrison is saying and get fired. And I also don't really think that this is a normal thing to do. Punching your players. It's one thing to get up in their face and yell at them, but punching, I mean, is it looks bush league. It looks childish. It doesn't look professional. You're going into football as a war. It's the closest thing to a war. We've got two competing teams from different areas with different men that are all on the same team for one goal. And there needs to be some sort of cohesiveness, at least on game day. During the week, behind closed doors, yeah, you can get in your heated arguments. You can say things for sure. You can go a little bit crazy. But on game day, in the middle of war, I mean, imagine you're in World War II and the opposition, they're arguing with each other. We're in the middle of a war, and the opposition is arguing with each other. I mean, you just start smiling, you just know you've got the win, because they're not even focused on defeating us. I mean, the NFL's tough enough, and you're focused on arguing with players, and now that player's worried. And the most ironic part about this all was after that massive mental mistake, the Arizona Cardinals made another fumble at the goal line after that. So for all the people that say, back in my day, my coach, he'd take me out back and he'd beat me up. It's like, it doesn't look like it's working, because he'd shoot out one player with the impression that he would instill fear in the team. If you make this mistake, and it's like it happened 10 minutes later. The same thing happened 10 minutes later and ended up costing them the game. So, look, I understand being mad, but I don't think this isn't something that, you just yell at a player and then they're just, oh, okay, I'm just going to be smart next time. It's like, I don't know if this problem is that simple. It's a lack of focus, and I don't really know if you punching them is going to help. I think it just looks sloppy. The coach has since apologized. Look, I don't even know if I like that move either. I'm kind of not a fan of anything in this video, but look, if that's your coaching style, if you're the tough guy that's getting in people's faces, and maybe during practice you line up in Oklahoma drills and you're knocking people out, okay, maybe. I mean, if that's your style, I don't think that's the best style, but now he's aggressive, but then he's also coward. He's aggressive in the worst ways and cowardly. Look, if you do that, stand behind it and say, yeah, look, we get physical. That's how we do it on our sideline. And if that's the case, and if the Cardinals go on to win many Super Bowls, I can't really say anything about it. But I think it's a total mess. And obviously, at least inside of that own game, it didn't really help him out that much.